你们知道二婚市场的现状吗？
Do you know what the reality of the remarriage market looks like today? I've been divorced for 4 years now, and I've also observed the people around me during this time. What I've discovered is that in the past, getting married was easy and getting divorced was hard. But now, it's the opposite. Getting divorced is easy, and getting married again is hard. If a man doesn't have money, women won't even consider him. If a woman is too old, men won't consider her either. If a divorced man has a son, women will think twice. But if a divorced woman has a son, men won't consider her at all. And if both sides each have a son, neither of them dares to take the other. They both look down on each other. There's also another frustrating situation. Many divorced women nowadays don't want to have more children, but men often still want to have another child. It really gives people a headache. So as a single mother, I think it's better to focus on living well for yourself first. Finding another partner should be something that adds beauty to your life, not something that takes away from it. If the appearance of a new partner lowers your current quality of life, then it's not adding value. It will only make you anxious. And another thing, if you see finding a partner as a way to save yourself, like help in desperate times, then you will definitely end up anxious too. So my advice? Let it be. Let fate take its course.
我不知道，爸爸。
I don't understand why mom and dad had to get a divorce. Did you ever think about how I feel? You're getting divorced, then why did you bring me into this world in the first place?
我替你们都试过了。
I've lived it for all of you. If you choose the wrong life partner, every step you take for the rest of your life will be wrong. You will taste all the bitterness that the world has to offer.
离婚3年了嘛，但是我现在非常想跟他复婚。
It's been 3 years since the divorce, but now I really want to remarry him. What was the reason for the divorce? At that time, my husband's business had failed and he wanted me to help him, so that's why we got divorced. How much debt did he owe back then? Around 2 million yuan. And how much property did you get after the divorce? I had saved about 800,000 yuan in total. So, you didn't help him? It's not that I insisted on divorcing him, it was him who forced me to take out that 800,000 yuan. You see, my younger brother was getting married and needed to buy a house. As the eldest sister, how could I not help him? So I gave 600,000 yuan to my brother to buy a house. You couldn't help your husband, but you could help your brother? You mean to say you could only give money to your brother, but not to your husband? How is your ex-husband's business now? It's going quite well now. And I don't just want his money, I'm doing this for our child. I want our child to have a complete family. If you're still watching, comment 1, so I know you're still with me.
你干嘛来着？咱俩离婚1年了。
What are you doing? We've been divorced for a year now. I came rushing back today because I want to remarry you. You're making 300,000 yuan a year now, right? That's nearly 30,000 yuan a month. So, I think we should get back together. I feel like you're earning so much money that you might not be able to manage it properly. If you keep all that money in your own hands, who knows what might happen? And if you hand it over to someone else, I wouldn't feel at ease either. After all, this money will eventually belong to our child in the future. So, I think it's best for me to hold it that way. I'll feel more secure. So, let's get remarried. I don't really have any major demands, just a few simple conditions. Listen carefully. First of all, I want a bride price of 280,000 yuan. I'm not asking for too much, not 1 million or 2 million, just 280,000 yuan, as a token of sincerity, to show that you still care about me, that you still value me, right? It's a way to prove your commitment to me. All right, next, all of your money must be handed over to me. The household finances will still be completely managed and controlled by me. You won't have any authority to move the funds around, do you hear me? If you want to spend money, you'll have to ask me first. Every month, the 30,000 yuan you earn will be handed over to me. I'll leave you 1,000 yuan out of that. 500 yuan is for our child, because the child is still young and will definitely need some expenses. The other 500 yuan is for you. That should be enough for your personal use each month. If something special comes up, like an important or unexpected event that requires more money, then you can come and discuss it with me. But as for your regular salary, you must hand it over to me on time and without delay. Another thing, once the 30,000 yuan reaches me each month, you are not to ask how I spend it. I'll regularly send living expenses to my younger brother and my mother because, as you know, my brother doesn't have a job and my parents are getting older. They all rely on me to support them. So, your monthly 30,000 yuan will cover both our family and theirs. It's more than enough for everyone. Therefore, you are not allowed to question how I spend the money, whether I save any of it or what I do with it. all financial matters will be managed by me alone. I have full authority to decide where the money goes. It's none of your business. Also, if my brother wants to buy a car or replace one in the future, the money will come from our household funds. Understand? Since you're making so much now, you should be capable of covering my brother's car expenses. Let me tell you something. Finding someone like me is like finding a needle in a haystack. You're truly blessed to have met a woman like me, filial, sensible, family-oriented, and good at managing a household. You should count your luck. Honestly, I didn't even want to respond to you today. Do you know why? Because I'm speechless. Right now, I just want to slap you, do you understand? Wait, what did you just say? You think remarrying me would be your blessing? Do you even look like someone worth 280,000 yuan? That money belongs to my daughter, did you hear that? And you still dare to say you want to use it to buy your brother a car? I swear, I just want to slap you right now.
就这种人为什么要网暴自己呢？还觉
Why would someone like her even expose herself online? And the worst part is, she actually thinks she has a good reason for doing so. I've never seen anyone so shameless in my life. She acts as if all the money belongs to her alone, she can spend yours, but you can't touch a single cent of hers. To put it bluntly, that so-called savings of 800,000 yuan probably came straight out of her ex-husband's pocket. She would rather help her younger brother than help her own husband. Clearly, she never truly considered her husband part of the family. She divorced him in the first place for money. And now she wants to remarry, but not because she suddenly stopped caring about her ex-husband's wealth. If her ex-husband were still buried in debt, would she still want to remarry him? I seriously doubt it. This is the perfect example of what it means to take and never give. And now she even says she wants her child to have a complete family. But tell me, why didn't she think about that when she decided to get divorced? 9 years of compulsory education, and yet it seems like she didn't learn a single thing.
直到今天呢，
Even up to this day, China's divorce rate keeps rising sharply. It's already approaching 50%. Especially now, for every 2 couples who get married, 1 ends up getting divorced. And what's more, in most cases, it's the women who initiate the divorce. Now, setting aside cases involving betrayal, domestic violence, or other fundamental moral issues in those situations, I firmly support divorce. But looking at the situation today, we have to ask, where exactly does the confidence of modern women who file for divorce come from?
我现在没有钱，你天天问我要。
I don't have any money right now, yet you keep asking me for it every day. I'm not stupid, you're the one asking for a divorce? Fine, but I don't agree to the divorce. So what's the point of your request? I'll keep paying off the mortgage. As for our children, let's talk about custody. The boy is already 21 years old, and the girl is 16. I'll take care of them. Should the other party pay child support? No, I'll handle it myself. What about the house? The house will go to our son. So what you mean is, I'm supposed to walk away with nothing. You're really asking me to leave empty-handed? Do you agree to the divorce? No, I don't. I just want to stay in this home. He keeps arguing nonstop, so much that I'm scared to go home. I feel like I'm going insane. Did the defendant submit any evidence? You can ask these people here. I didn't prepare anything, but you can ask them. How is your relationship now? It's okay, I guess, but in these past few years, it feels like I'm the one taking care of him. He's never cared for me. I leave home at 10 in the morning and come back at 2 or 3 in the morning. How could I take care of you? I cook, wash clothes, and wait for you at home. Go ask your hometown folks what they think. Whatever others say, that's them. I am who I am. I'm not stupid. Then the defendant speaks in dialect. I think our relationship is fine. Do you live separately now? Yes, it's been about 7 or 8 months. What, 7 or 8 months? You just came back last month to help me move. Enough arguing. Let's end this peacefully. Why must we divorce? Because I can't live with him anymore. He never listens, always insists on his way. Everything has to be his decision, and every decision he makes turns out wrong. At this point, I think it's over. I'm speaking from my heart. If I stay with you, I won't live another 5 years. After 20 years together, I feel like my body is breaking down. I'm full of illnesses. I'd rather see you sick for life than divorce you. Well, then the law will decide. Stop fighting. He's making my life miserable. I haven't done anything wrong. Why should I have to suffer mentally? Honestly, when I look at you now, I just feel disgusted. You talk and talk, never stop. All right, please stop arguing in court. Any final statements? No matter what, I want the divorce. I'm not afraid of losing face. I have nothing left now. The only thing I own is this car. Even if I sell it, it's worth maybe 40 or 50,000 yuan. If I get divorced, the house isn't mine, the car isn't mine, and the house belongs to our son. So where am I supposed to live? You said you'd take care of our daughter and pay the mortgage yourself. Now you're saying you have nowhere to go? I've already agreed to everything. What more do you want from me? Ha! You call yourself a man, yet you say you've got nowhere to turn? I'm just a woman, and I still won't give up. I'll never agree to a divorce. You keep asking me for money every single day, and I don't even have any. Fine, go marry that woman you've been talking to online then. And what's your opinion? If I get divorced, I'll lose everything anyway, but I still don't agree to the divorce. I've fought by his side for more than 20 years. What have I gained? What did we fight for? The house? Everything we built together? To be honest, in these 20 years, you've never done laundry, never cooked, and yet you still have the nerve to talk like this? I've been working day and night, leaving early and coming home late. What more do you want? I'm telling you straight, if he agrees to the divorce, I'd rather eat dirt than stay with him any longer. All right then. Are both parties willing to mediate? I refuse to mediate. I'm willing. I'd love to settle peacefully. That's impossible. Judge, listen to me. When I started working outside, I begged him. I even knelt down to him. All right, clearly there are strong emotions on both sides. The court will now proceed with mediation.
离婚了，净身出户。
After the divorce, I walked away with nothing. Not long after I left, my mother-in-law called me and told me to move all my belongings out of the house. Honestly, I never imagined that the home I had paid for with my own money would end up being the place where my mother-in-law kicked me out. But for the sake of my child, I accepted it. That's right, at 35 years old, I'm about to start a new life alone with my child. When I think about the 10 rotten years of my marriage, I realize that maybe there was no love left at all. From the moment we set the date to when we met at the office, and even after completing all the paperwork, we didn't exchange a single word. I don't even know what he was trying to avoid. Maybe he was afraid I'd leave the child with him. Our child, Mumu, was born with congenital heart disease. When he said we should give up on treatment, I swore to myself, even if I have to beg on the streets, I will never abandon my child. This time, I was the one who asked for the divorce. I left everything to him, the house, the car, the savings, all of it. I have nothing left. Even if he had only said a single word about wanting to keep the child, I wouldn't have felt so heartbroken. Thinking back on the past 10 years, everything I gave helping his parents build a new house back in their hometown, borrowing money for his sister so she could buy a home, arranging everything for both of our children's education, all of it was me. I paid his debts, cleaned up his messes. When we first got married, he said he wanted to start a business. I remember the nights when he said he was short on cash. I couldn't sleep at all. I swallowed my pride and went around borrowing money for him everywhere. I supported his career so that he could have no worries behind him. And in the end, what did I get in return? The moment we walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, everything was over. From now on, I only hope that in my future life, I will no longer suffer because of love and no longer be crushed by the weight of survival.
80%离过婚的女人都想复婚。
80% of divorced women want to remarry. Do you know why men don't agree? When they first get divorced, men usually try every possible way to save the marriage. But women are different. Many of them have so-called best friends by their side, cheering them on, saying how great it feels to be divorced. They think, finally, I don't have to stand by the stove all day, don't have to take care of the kids, and don't have to act like a servant washing a man's underwear and his stinky socks. To be honest, women generally age faster than men. At this point in life, have you ever really looked closely in the mirror? The crow's feet at the corners of your eyes are deep enough to trap a mosquito. Some foolish women, once they turn on beauty filters, suddenly think they are the most beautiful woman in the world. When a random man flatters them with a few sweet words, they beam with pride, feeling confident and powerful, believing that after the divorce they can easily find someone better. They always complain that their ex-husbands weren't romantic enough. But let me ask you, can romance fill your stomach? You go out and meet man after man, but after a while, you realize that your ex-husband was the one who truly treated you with sincerity. And now that you want him back, it's too late. No kind words can ever wake a person pretending to sleep. A man works himself to exhaustion to support the family. How could he still have the energy to play romantic games with you every day? And tell me, do you really think a man who is both wealthy and romantic would ever be interested in you now? You're no longer young, no longer soft-skinned and tender-faced. So stop dreaming of those fairy tale dramas you watch on TV. It's time to wake up.
当年我离婚以后呢，我就后悔了。
Back then, after I got divorced, I regretted it deeply. But by then, everything was already too late. My ex-husband refused to remarry me. With my own 5 years of experience after the divorce, I want to tell all women never get divorced easily. More than 95% of women regret it after the divorce. In marriage, women should never be too strong or controlling. I was too dominant. I always felt that whatever my husband did was wrong. Everything about him annoyed me. I was determined to change him, and I never once thought that I might be the one who was wrong. I always believed that if I found another man, I would be happier. So I chose to divorce. Every time I saw the messages my son sent me, my regret grew stronger and stronger. It hit me harder each time. It took me 5 years to finally realize that the ones most hurt by a divorce are always the children. That's why I wanted to remarry to give my child a complete family. But my ex-husband refused no matter what. He already knew that I regretted it. I had always believed that changing the person I was with would bring me happiness. So I chose a man who was 6 years older than me, but instead of giving me money for daily expenses, he actually asked me for money, and when I refused, he would hit me. It truly proved that saying if your first marriage wasn't happy, your second one will be even harder. If you believe that simply finding someone new will bring you happiness, that mindset is completely wrong. In fact, the more you search, the worse it gets. Now I regret it so much. If I hadn't divorced, at least my child would still have a complete family. My ex-husband was always devoted to our child with all his heart. So now I finally understand I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so domineering.
离婚2周年了，特别后悔。
It's been 2 years since my divorce, and there's one thing I deeply regret. I want to share it with all of you, especially those sisters who are going through something similar right now. Listen carefully. My ex-husband and I were married for 5 years. Now, when I look back on those 5 years before the divorce, I can honestly tell you it was all a waste of time. The constant emotional ups and downs, the endless mental exhaustion, the overthinking, I regret every single bit of it. I regret that I let myself get so consumed by someone who never deserved that kind of emotional energy from me. He wasn't worth my time, my peace of mind, or the nights of lost sleep. What I regret the most is that during that time, I allowed myself to drown in emotions instead of doing something meaningful like making money, improving myself, or reflecting on my own actions to create a better life. Instead, I just stayed stuck in that emotional mess without making a single step forward. Those 5 years were completely wasted on someone who wasn't worth it. Sisters, please don't be like me. Don't get trapped in your emotions like that. Don't wait until you've been pushed to a dead end before you start reflecting and waking up. It's such a pity to waste time that way. Have you noticed? Men like that will mock your pain. They'll say your tears are fake, that your suffering is exaggerated, that your emotions are just for show and only their pain is real. Back then, when I cried, my ex-husband said I was just a useless woman who only knew how to cry and couldn't do anything else. When I was hurting, he laughed at my pain. You know what? People like that are not worth a single second of your time. The best thing you can do is treat them exactly the way they treated you. That's what I'm doing now. I treat him the same way he used to treat me. And you know what? I'm living so much better. Damn, now I understand what it feels like to be selfish, and it feels amazing. No wonder men love being selfish. It's liberating. Let him walk his own path and make sure it leads nowhere. Sisters, live well. Live freely, that's all.
经常有人问我
People often ask me, do you regret getting divorced? Yes, I regret it. If time could turn back, if I could go back to the year 2006 when I got married, I would want to start over. I would work harder to manage my marriage and redefine myself. It was only after the divorce that I realized people without their own opinions can't live well. People who are too naive can't live well. And those who are overly kind and always play the good person, they can't live well either. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 years have passed. Deep inside, I still feel unwilling and upset. I was so hardworking, kind, and ambitious, such a filial and considerate person. How could I have ended up divorced? How could someone as capable as me still end up divorced? Why did I end up like this? Because I was too naive. I had no opinions of my own. I was too soft-hearted, and I never valued myself. I always put others first. My best friend often told me, you give too much. You think too much about others. You always say yes whenever people ask for something, afraid that you won't do enough. Back when I lived with my husband's family, I only wanted to be a good wife and a loving mother, a daughter-in-law that others would praise, a wife who made her husband proud in front of others. I tried so hard, but in the end, What did I gain? Sisters, don't envy other people's lives. Every family has its share of hidden struggles. Those women who seem to have changed their fate through divorce may look glamorous on the outside, but it's all an illusion. The pain they carry inside, no one else sees it. What they show you is only the best version of themselves. This society is not kind to divorced women who are raising children on their own. Every step I've taken since then has felt like my heart was bleeding. I feel like I've crawled out of a swamp inch by inch. So, how should we women live? We must cherish our marriages, love ourselves, and make ourselves happy. Only when you are happy and at peace will your child be happy and at peace. Because when a mother is well, her child will be well. That's what truly matters. Now we've already reached our 30s and 40s, it's time to make the most out of our lives, to live for ourselves. Only then can your children and your parents live better lives. Don't you agree?
离婚以后我就后悔了。
After the divorce, I regretted it deeply. But no matter what I said, it was already too late. My ex-husband refused to remarry me. From my own personal experience, I want to tell all women never get divorced easily. More than 98% of women regret it after divorce. In marriage, women should never be too dominant. I was too strong-willed. I always felt that I had married the wrong person. Everything my husband did seemed wrong to me. No matter what he did, I found fault. I only wanted to change him, and I never once stopped to reflect on my own problems. I thought that if I found another man, I would finally be happy. So, I chose to divorce. But when I saw the video my son sent me, I truly regretted everything. I finally realized that after a divorce, the ones who get hurt the most are the children. That's why I wanted to remarry to give my child a complete family again. But my ex-husband refused. He knew that I regretted it. Back then, all I wanted was to find a man who could make me happy. So I chose a man who was 5 years older than me. But instead of giving me money, he kept asking me for money. And when I refused, he would get violent. It really proves that old saying, a woman who fails in her first marriage will never have a happy second one. If you believe that changing the person you marry will automatically bring you happiness, you'll never find a man better than your first husband. In fact, every new one will be worse than the last. So now I regret it. If I hadn't divorced, at least my child would still have a complete family. My ex-husband truly loved our child with all his heart. Now, I finally understand where I went wrong. I shouldn't have been so domineering. I really shouldn't have done what I did. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
离了婚的女人
Are divorced women truly happy? When a husband and wife have completely different values and can no longer live happily together, yet they have a child, should they still choose to divorce? Speaking from my own real experience, I chose divorce, but I regretted it. From the child's perspective, he's in his 30s now, and so am I. He can find someone new, and so can I. But if either of us has another child, the one who suffers the most will undoubtedly be our 5-year-old son. And honestly, after getting divorced, if we find someone new, will that person really be better than the previous one? Probably not. It always starts the same, the initial spark, the sweetness and affection. Then over time, it fades into the daily grind of rice, oil, salt, and tea, the same old routine. Eventually, it just becomes a repetition of the previous marriage. Let's be honest, once we get divorced, society redefines us completely. No matter who we are, whether we're successful, independent women who can stand on our own feet, or women who struggle just to make ends meet, society still labels us. Of course, if you're capable and can support yourself, that's great. But the truth is, those who are better than us won't look at us, and those who are worse, we don't want them. And if we can't even support ourselves, it's even worse, we either have to take ourselves off the market or live alone. Some sisters might say, why do I have to find another man? Can't I just live on my own? Yes, you can. For a short time, that's perfectly fine. But as time goes on, you'll start to feel lonely, scared, and even depressed. Then some might say, that's impossible. I have friends. I have siblings. We can hang out and have fun together. Sure you can. But there's no such thing as an endless feast eventually. Everyone returns to their own home and their own life. And in the end, you'll find yourself alone in an empty house, surrounded only by silence. So as someone who has gone through this, I sincerely advise all women do not rush into divorce. Unless you truly have no other choice, unless you are facing domestic violence, gambling, drug addiction, or a situation that can no longer be repaired otherwise, never take the path of divorce lightly.
为什么离婚率越来越高？这个很正常的一个现象。
Why is the divorce rate getting higher and higher? It's actually a very normal phenomenon. You only need to think about one simple truth: people are inherently selfish. That's the most basic and fundamental law of human nature. Once you understand this, everything else becomes clear. Take the stock market, for example. Some people say, it's an opportunity for the poor to get rich. You're overthinking it. Good things like that never reach ordinary people. But because some people lack intelligence, they always believe that good fortune will somehow fall on them. Divorce works in the same way. Why is the divorce rate rising? Because after divorce, many people find that life actually gets better. So, would you choose to divorce or not? Let's take myself as an example. If getting divorced meant I could have 2 wives afterward, of course I'd divorce. But if after divorcing I found that my new wife wasn't as good as my current one, then I wouldn't. In the past, divorce rates were low because of the lifestyle back then. Men farmed, women wove. Marriage was a partnership for survival. Once divorced, both parties would struggle to live. Men couldn't survive without women cooking for them, and women couldn't survive without men plowing the fields. They simply couldn't separate. So, marriage in the past was about survival. It was a survival-based system that essentially went against human nature. It existed to ensure people could live, not to satisfy personal happiness, and that's why it gradually fell apart. Today, people marry for a better life. But then they realize that married life isn't as wonderful as they imagined, and that's when conflict begins. Looking at the trend, in the future, fewer and fewer people will get married, and more will get divorced. There's really nothing complicated to explain. In short, when you look at things from the perspective of self-interest, everything becomes simple. According to official data, China's divorce rate has risen by over 200% in the past 20 years, reaching nearly 3 divorces for every 5 marriages in major cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. The trend reflects not only changes in relationships, but also deep structural shifts in modern Chinese society. As China Social Trends reports, economic independence, urban pressure, and rising expectations for emotional fulfillment have completely reshaped how Chinese people view marriage and family. At the same time, China Social Trends highlights another paradox. While marriage registrations dropped by over 20% in the last 5 years, luxury wedding and dating industries are booming, suggesting that love in modern China has become more about social display than emotional connection. So, what do you think? Is the rising divorce rate a sign of progress, people choosing personal freedom and authenticity over unhappy marriages? Or is it a warning that traditional values and family stability are collapsing in modern China? Share your opinion in the comments below. Do you believe love in China today is still about commitment, or has it become a transaction driven by interest and ego? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more stories and analysis on the changing face of modern society. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.